Look, Don, let's move on to obviously the decisions at the weekend. Loads to go at. I mean, obviously the big talking point was the Arsenal game. You know, Arsenal get away with it because they win the game in the end. But the decision to give the red card has caused, you know, huge upheaval in the footballing world. Cundy thinks it's a red, Derm. Now, I haven't seen Ref Watch. What's your take on it?
Well, this is a personal opinion, Jamie. This isn't based on anything I've been told that people feel. You know, people have their opinions. For me, it's stopping a promising attack. I think Doherty gets away. Skelly's intention is, right, he's away. I've got to stop him quickly. He's on the edge of his opponent's box. This is the best time to bring him down. He goes to trip him. All right, he might not have tripped him as easily as he felt, but for me, that's what it is. The referee saw it differently. There's no doubt about that. And it's amazing how this has just gathered and gathered and gathered over the weekend. It's become so high profile for all kinds of reasons.
Dan, the outrage on this challenge is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe I'm hearing high profile journalists and sports reporters, you know, ex-players, Alan Shearer, Danny Murphy, even Troy Deeney, calling it one of the worst decisions in history. I don't see that. Honestly, I don't. You can make a decision where you feel it's the right or wrong decision, but the outrage and the outpouring of absolute grief, and that's what it is, grief in the footballing world, is preposterous. I tell you now, it's insane. I actually feel that this is not one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. I can understand why Oliver's given it. Now, you can agree whether you think it is or not. Personally, I think it's closer to an orange card. I know that doesn't exist, but it's not the worst decision. I can see why he sent him off. Honestly, I can. I can see the ball is nowhere near him. He leads with his studs. He makes no contact with the ankle. He starts at the shin. Yes, it's cynical and it's dangerous, by the way. It's dangerous. I know those two don't lead to a red card, but when he's not going for the ball and the ball is gone, I'm sorry, that on another day, he gets the same tackle wrong and he injures him badly on another day. And that, for me, in the modern game, is unacceptable. For me, I hope the red stands.
Well, I certainly agree with Jason. It is not the worst decision you've ever seen. That is almost a knee-jerk reaction. And as I say, it's gathered traction more and more and more. And for the wrong reasons. And we've seen this morning's newspapers. It has led to wrong reasons. You know, I feel it's a mistake. You don't. And that's how difficult refereeing is. You know, for me, it's a trip. It's a stopping a promising attack. For Jamie, it's a red card. For you, it's a yellow card. That will show you the dilemma. That will also show you why people have also then jumped on the bandwagon with Darren England and said, well, why didn't he send him to the screen? Why didn't he make him have a look? Well, the fact that you think one way, Jamie thinks the other, will tell you it isn't as clear cut. It isn't the howler that everybody says. So therefore, you can't do that.
We've got Dermot Gallagher with us. Just on the decisions, Dermot, I just want to touch on a couple more of them. The Brentford game, the Crystal Palace, the penalty in Buemo, the encroachment, which has obviously been the huge talking point. And then what did you make of when he retaken the penalty? There's a player behind him celebrating it before the goal even goes in. Is there a bit of unsportsmanlike conduct in that?
I think that was just a bit cheeky, wasn't it? But nothing. It's interesting, the penalty, because people say, why did it take so long to check? If you look, there's a few issues. Does Henderson save it and turn it onto the post? Well, that makes a big difference, because if he does, it allows Mbeumo to go for the second shot. If he doesn't, obviously it comes off the post. Mbeumo can't play the ball. And people say, well, does Gay impact on the decision? Well, he does, because if you look, he's in the D. There's no doubt about that. He encroaches and he stops Wissa without doubt following up, and he stops Janelt following up. So the fact he clears it, he clearly impacts on the outcome of that decision, so therefore a retake.
Okay. Cundy?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Brighton penalty that was given. Samuel Barrett was the referee. It's a Veltman. I feel for him because he's going down but it's a deliberate attempt to move the ball away. And I wonder whether he felt, because he's going down, there's a little bit of pressure from behind, that he might get away with it. But I've been in that situation. He knows what he's doing, and it's a sign of a desperate man, I'm afraid.
It's a little bit of a panic, Jace, isn't it? You know, he feels the forward coming. He knows if the forward gets by, you know, he's got that opportunity. And he just swipes. It's almost instinct. I've got to get rid of the ball. Yeah. He swipes at it. What I will say, great VAR intervention, because Sam Barrett could never see that.
Correct.
The only angle you see it's from on the goal, the VAR picked it up.
Derm, I've got to quickly ask you, before I let you go, Michael Oliver, the red card with the Lewis-Skelly one is obviously a huge talking point. Are you disappointed in Darren England at VAR? That he didn't get involved, ask him to go to the monitor? What was that process? I'm sure we'll hear it, but he's a bit disappointed with him that he didn't. Are people scared to make that decision for a respected ref?
I think the fact that you and Jace have both disagreed, shows it isn't as clear cut as we say. It's not one way or the other. It's interesting that people say, well, can he go and show him, say, just go and have a look? Well, you can't do that. You've got to be convinced he's made a howler. Michael Oliver's obviously said to him, I've seen this. This is why I've sent him off. Do the pictures corroborate what Michael says? Well, we don't know what Michael says. We only hear the VAR, but they obviously do, because Darren's just cleared it. That's how it works. But you can't send them on a maybe just to have a second look.
Right. Okay. All right, Derm, we're going to let you go. Top man, mate. I appreciate you coming on.
Cheers, Derm.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.